Welcome to the Never Been Promoted podcast and YouTube channel. I'm on a mission to help you cut the tie to all the things that are holding you back so you can unleash your entrepreneurial. I know you're wondering what tastes better, coffee or water. The answer is wine. You all got enough. We're going to be talking today. By the way, hi, I'm Thomas Helfrich, your host of the Never Been Promoted podcast. Why never been promoted? Because in my career, I never was promoted. It's crazy. It's not going to happen now. I trash talk too much corporate. I can't go back. It's just how it is. Not that I wouldn't take a job, but no one would have me. So this is how we're going to be. We're just going to do a podcast. But today we're here with Karolyn Denson Landrieux. We're going to be talking about some cool ass wine. That's right, wine. I don't drink anymore, so she's going to make me an alcoholic today. It's going to be great. She's going to bring me back full-fledged. I may be loaded by the end of the show. All this is kind of not true. So anyway, hey, listen, I was going to do one call to action. If you listen to the show, and if you're listening to the podcast, by the time you hear this, there's a thing called Cut the Tie. Cut the Tie is a community that we've started to help entrepreneurs get help and give help, to help people cut ties to shit holding them back. So the idea is you go there, you give about an hour of your time, you get an hour of someone's time, and you can move forward in your entrepreneurial journey. So check it out, cutthetie.com. Enough shameless plugs. Let's add Carolyn to the stage. Hello, how are you?
Hello.
You're not going to make me an alcoholic. I can do that by myself. But the truth is, we're going to talk about wine, about crafting stories, raising a glass. It's good to see you on here. How are you? How have you been, by the way?
I have been good. I've been sort of between super busy and vacation holidays / mode. So, you know how everything shuts down during the holidays.
Especially in Europe.
So, yeah. But I mean, even here, because of the holiday being in the middle of the week, like nothing got done.
Right.
So I'm ready to go, but
I feel it. I feel the energy. Like you're you look great, by the way. I want you to know that. Like I can tell you like went and you're like, I'm gonna fix some things. Not that you needed to, but I can tell you put some time in. If those listening,
I mean,
you can check out the video.
this effort is all for you.
Oh. I'd send you a bottle of wine, but you don't need one because you
No, thank you.
Do you want to just take a couple seconds here? Just introduce yourself. Just who you are, where. I think where you live is an interesting story. You can throw that in there if you like. But do you want to set us up for the day of
Sure.
about you?
Oh, okay. So Karolyn Denson Landrieux. I'm originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We still have a home there, but I spend a lot of time in Paris. We have a home there also. So I have residency in France and I'm still a US citizen. So it's kind of a little 50-50-ish. I was a flight attendant for a major airline. I don't know if I can say it or not, so I won't.
You can. I'm not going to trash talk unless it's United or American Airlines because they suck.
No, it was Delta, actually.
I love Delta. See, I'm a Delta. I'm in Atlanta. I didn't know there was other airlines here. I had no idea.
Well, in Atlanta, there's not. So there you
It's
go.
a South Terminal, then there's where everyone else goes.
Right, exactly.
Mhm.
So I did that for 35 years. I was a flight attendant for 35 years. And then COVID happened 2020, forced into retirement. Well, took the package. And I started writing children's books. So I write children's books. I have a publishing company with children's books. But my husband is born and raised in France, and his family is in the champagne industry. So he was raised doing champagne. He knows all things champagne. We've been together for 15 years, married since 2006.
Are you guessing at that date?
Yeah, I know. Shame on me, right?
That's a guy's role. I
2016.
mean, if a guy said that, oh my gosh, forget it.
I know.
Dead.
I know. No, it was
Murdered.
2016 for real. So 8.5 years we've been
Can't
married, but we've been together for 15, almost 16 years. So I did not know when I met him that he was in the champagne family, in a champagne industry. They produce, grow, sell champagne. So he knows all things champagne. We spent a lot of time in the region. We got married there. His family's still there. And how we ended up getting into the champagne import business is that we've decided to do our own label. So we are white labeling some of the craft champagnes that are from the area, because what Americans know, 90% of the imports of champagne to the United States are from the same market. They're all from the same huge group. So Americans only knew a fraction of the champagnes that are actually available from the region. So our mission is to bring the family owned craft champagne, um, small batch flavors and taste to the United States. And part of that is by doing our own label so that we can be able to promote that as well. So it's really exciting. It's such a fun business. I think a lot of people don't understand champagne.
Not at all.
um, yeah. So champagne has to come from the Champagne region. So a lot of the things that people are drinking, they're thinking is champagne. It's not. It'll say made in Champagne method, or it'll be from a region that's not, even
I
if it's in France.
I thought
If
they
it's
couldn't
not,
even. I thought there was like a and trademark's wrong rule, but you couldn't use the word champagne unless it was from the region. Or is that just a courtesy? And people say, I don't care, I'm doing it.
they're not supposed to. Like
Is
they
it
could.
enforceable though? Or
It is. It is. The Champagne, there is a huge council in Champagne that regulates everything. Even our
how would they
exports
enforce
are
that though? I mean, like
regulated.
if I
They
make it in the
could,
champagne method, like does that
well,
word
the Champagne method they can say, or
but
made
I
in
mean
the
if I
method of
call something
Champagne.
champagne, how do they enforce that? Like you can't do they own the word champagne? Is that why that region does? Or how does one enforce I always wonder how do you enforce that?
They could sue the company and have it shut down
So they
if
got
they
that
called
much
it
money. I
Champagne.
mean, alcohol. I don't know if you guys know this, but alcohol prints money. I mean, that's the one thing that not only doesn't slow down during bad times, it accelerates. If you look at the
Yeah.
sales of alcohol during COVID, you think pharmaceutical made a lot of money? Holy moly! You should look at the
Yeah.
InBevs of the world. I didn't even realize there would be a craft champagne. I would think there's some markets for it from older stuff, but that's an amazing statistic that 90% of what you see is you're calling it same market. You're probably thinking it's shit. It's really not good stuff, and you could do much better for yourself. I'm
Well,
saying that,
no,
not
no, no,
you.
no,
You're being
no.
that. Yeah, okay.
See,
Just making sure.
that's another myth that happens about Champagne. People think that if in Champagne in the actual region, it's not that competitive. It's so highly regulated that you don't have to be. So everybody is going to, be make money, or you can only produce so much of the grapes if you have a vineyard, if you have a um hectares of land or whatever. So it's super regulated. So everybody drinks everybody's champagne. It's not that competitive. It's more competitive in the United States just because that's our nature.
It's so something like the probably most famous one that people know is like people who don't drink champagne think oh Dom Perignon I'm going to get some of that right. I look at that I think it's just marketing. It tastes like a Cordell black bottle. It's the same to me. So uh, in your business, I know we're jumping ahead a little bit, but this is just fun. What really separates a craft from the Dom Perignon versus the Costco brand?
So what is happening with the larger champagne brands is they're buying grapes from the smaller people. So what they're doing is they're blending the terroir and the champagne grapes that they're getting into their own brand. So it's more of a conglomerate of different vineyards. So what we're working with, the people that we're working, the producers, growers, grow from their own land. For example, our purple label is from a family that goes back 10 generations who actually started at the same time as Dom Perignon. So our purple label is a fantastic champagne at a lower price point than what you will get Dom Perignon, but equally as good. Probably better. I hate to say that, because it's made from the same land, from the grapes, from the same craft. It's single bat.
It's like it's from that same vineyard. There's no mix of other
There's no
grapes.
mixing.
I got you. And so
Exactly.
that's what would change the taste is when you can truly taste the
Right.
earth from that
It's
region
not a
more than
blend.
gotcha.
And
And the
so that's
blend
what people aren't
we're drinking
understanding.
blends. That's what we're mostly drinking those blends in the US. Okay,
Right.
gotcha.
Right. And there are, I mean, of course, the Dom Perignon from that are vintage, for example, are going to be more not blended and more, but it's also going to cost you a lot of money. You're going to pay a lot of money for that. And all of them have that. So I'm not
So
saying
when
that they're not great champagnes. They're fantastic. They're fabulous. But what you're able to afford at our price point is not going to be that great.
well, let me ask this. So do you guys his family when he does this, does every year do they make like 20 bottles and they say we just lock these away? And then like those become the $10,000 bottles 100 years from now or something like that. Like is that the mindset? Like we're going to lock a few away and we're always going to have our super special like wedding versions or something.
So what's interesting about vintage champagnes is that they can't do it every year. Um,
Yeah. Interesting. Why is that?
So, because it has to be really, really good grapes, a really good crop from that year. Anytime it's not a great crop, they're going to have to blend it with previous years. Sometimes they have to destroy up to 90% of their grapes because of weather, because of mold, those kinds of things. So, if you get a really great year, you can do a vintage. Um, so we're not importing his family champagne. We keep that for ourselves. Sorry, people. If you
Mhm.
know us, you can get it. But so, for example, we have a 2009 and a 2016 vintage because those were the last 2 years that they were able to vent the champagnes, and we have those put away. And I'm pretty sure his family has some of those put away as well. So you won't see, I don't know if you know this, but you won't see dates on a champagne bottle unless it is a vintage year. And it's not every year.
All right. So that's okay. So if you see a date on a champagne bottle, a real one, like not a
A real champagne bottle from Champagne.
champagne, you might want to hold on to that one because it's an actual vintage. All right.
Yes.
Will it say vintage or just it'll just the vintage is the year when it's on there?
The vintage is the year. So
All
when
right.
you see a year, you'll know that it's a vintage.
Got it. All right. In your own business right now, what's the biggest challenge you guys are facing for bringing this craft?
Um, right now, our biggest challenge is actually the United States government.
Mhm.
We are in the process of registering our labels with the TTB. And that is, like I said, it's highly regulated. So it's highly regulated on the French side, but it's also highly regulated on the American side of things.
You said
Everything,
TTB. What is
sorry,
TTB? What is TTB?
TTB is the Department of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms in the United States. So they
Not ATF.
regulate they regulate everything that comes in. So the labels have to be like perfect to their regulations. And then when it gets that, what do you call approval, I guess, from them, it comes to customs and then it has to go through customs again. So that's the biggest challenge that we have right now.
Hmm.
That and funding, but that's like, as an entrepreneur, that's an ongoing
Well, I
issue.
mean, for funding, right? It's sales. So if you have sales orders, you can get funding pretty quickly, even from banks or other places, because you're like, hey, I have
Nope,
10,000 orders, right? And they will be
nope,
like, they won't give you a loan on sales receipts or on pre-orders,
nope,
POs.
no,
Really? I
no.
can't believe you couldn't find an investor to be like, I'll do that for 10%.
Well, okay, so we are opening up our first round of investing in
Okay.
2 weeks. So we are doing that. We're doing
Are,
it, formally.
are you now? Are you doing it through accredited investing? Or are you going to do more of like not a GoFundMe, but like a Kickstarter or a WeFunder?
No, we're actually working with an investment coach that I met a few months ago this summer, and we've been putting together my pitch deck and my whole pitch and the whole 9 yards. So I mean, it's an official pitch, investor pitch,
All right, you're probably
because
going the regulator route. Then you're doing the accredited version. Because
right,
like there's the WeFunder where you find the first 50K and the elite investor, then they open it up and then anybody can put money in right toward it, which is yours would
no,
probably lend itself pretty good to that. I mean, it's completely above board and legal.
right,
It's the Reg
yeah,
C changes they made for that. Because I know when we raised the money for our company, it was the way you're doing it much harder, I think. But
it is.
it
It's not easy, but I think it's the best thing for us to do because we want to do more than just import champagne and
yeah.
label and sell our own labels. We want to grow it into something else as
Well, I mean,
well.
it becomes a import export company to some degree, right? Like you could bring anything in on that alcohol,
Well, so
anything on
what we're
that.
registered for with the TTB is to be able to bring in wines, champagnes, and fortified wines. So that means cognac and things like that as
Mhm.
well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you could bring in, like, you could, you create your own, not distribution, but import into it. So you have access and contracts with that no one else
Right,
has. Now you have, I get that. I
right.
think you'll find investors for that. there'll be, there'll be
Oh,
plenty of people who just love that stuff, who want to be a part of that. And if you just say, hey, listen, you're going to get a really good bottle every year at the very least, they'll be like, all right.
well, that's the thing with champagne is A, it's a consumable, and B, people collect it, and C, people love it. So, what you were saying earlier about how the drinking sort of grows during hard times, um, we're looking forward to
To more hard times ahead. It grows during good times too. You know
it
what's
does.
crazy though, especially in the US, people with money do stupid stuff, right? They waste it. Like, and I'm okay with that. That's their prerogative. But our
Right.
neighbor, they didn't do it. The neighbor before that we even moved, like they put an addition on this house, right? And we're like, oh, that's a nice sunroom. They're like, oh, the only reason it's a sunroom is because below it is a wine cellar. And this wine cellar's got to be, is as big as, I'm like, the addition, like it could be a small 1 bedroom home. And I'm thinking,
Yeah.
that's a lot of wine storage. I mean, like, and so people, they add
Yeah.
on to their homes to store alcohol, which
Yeah.
I find just
Yeah.
amazing. Ugh.
One of my best friends has two wine cellars
And their home.
in their home.
Did they do like a secret door one? I've always wanted to have a secret door.
Yes.
Yes. I've
Yes.
always said, let's cut a hole in the foundation. Let's go in the front yard and let's create like a little
No,
bunker.
this is like a real with the temperature control and the whole 9 yards.
I mean, that's what you would do though. You'd put it in some kind of like subground where even if it's
Yeah.
hot, everything fails, it's still gonna be 52 degrees in there no matter what, right?
Well, champagne changes if it's not kept at a certain temperature.
I didn't know that. Does it become like
Yeah.
syrupy, sugary?
No, it just the flavor changes. It's not a good thing to do, and wine has to be stored properly. Any kind of wine has to be stored properly. And a lot of people don't store it correctly. So
It never lasts long enough around our house to, be stored. It goes on the shelf, and then people come over and we're like, "Where'd all the wine go?" And we're like, "I don't know." And
Then you're not a
I'm saying
collector, sir.
I'm not a collect people collect it and they, put it in their bodies. As you know, I don't drink anymore. It's not that I wouldn't. So if you said, "Hey, this is like the finest bottle of rugby champagne that we have," I will try that for sure. We went to Cuba a few weeks ago, tried a little rum to see what the rum was like. Tastes like rum. So, but the point is I would try it. And I think
I
some people
appreciate it.
I have to appreciate it. I was like, all right, well, I'm here. I might as well, I'm in Cuba. How often can you get a true Cuban, like whatever?
Right.
Say I don't smoke cigars, but I had one there because it's in Cuba.
No, I
And
get
I was at
it.
a cigar plantation.
I get it. I would probably do the same. I don't
If I
smoke
go
at
to
all, but I would
Champagne,
probably
France,
try it.
having champagne, guaranteed,
Okay.
guaranteed. Because you're in Champagne, France. How could you not? Anyway, how is champagnized? Is like they have like a little soda stream and they just put a bunch of white wine together
Oh,
and they go,
oh no. No,
my
it's a
ignorance
process.
spills.
No, it's a process. I don't know the whole technicality of it because I didn't grow up in it. My husband does like 100%. He's the voice of when people ask questions of like the whole technical part of it. But they harvest in the usually like late August at the earliest through the beginning of October, depending on when it's ready. They harvest the grapes and it is made into wine. It's blended, it's fermented, it's put in the bottles, and it has to be turned. I think, I don't know what the schedule is, but it has to be turned regularly, one quarter
Mhm.
turn. And then the first fermentation is done. It's at the yeast is added to it. The first fermentation is done. They take out the first cork, which has the yeast plug, and pull all that out, and then they rebottle it. And and
Wow.
that's the abridged version of how to make champagne.
So it's not a soda.
So
We always like just take wine and put some soda stream in that thing, and you got
no,
yourself some
no, sir.
champagne. I'll do it in Dom Perignon land. I'll tell you what,
No, it's
$400.
it's stored in these big giant vats of like steel vats, and yeah, it's a huge industry. Like it's a huge business. If that's part of what we want to do too is champagne tourism. That's like
Mhm.
in the future as we grow.
That's what I was going to ask you is like, can you set up a, three couples, four couples come over, put
Yeah,
them up in a little bed and breakfast, and they spend the week
yeah.
eating cheese and trying different,
Oh yeah,
because
yeah,
that right
yeah,
there would be
yeah.
like, if you want to get, I look at your marketing as like you're probably one of your biggest challenges is just you're not selling a product, you have to sell a story, right? And a
Right,
feeling. And
right,
if the only way you can get access to order the stuff is by through a tour, at least initially, then that's the brand that it becomes. Like, hey, the only way you can get this stuff is actually if you show up, and then that's where you have to buy it is actually in our stores here. Eventually you could buy it in the store, but that's something that people will certainly pay for. Because you go to Paris, you do a day there, like you whole, go out in the country
right.
for a couple days.
Right. Well, that's
I'm
something that's like actually where we're planning on going. So we're going to build a guest house in Champaign. Like I said, his
Mhm.
family is there. So,
Yeah, I mean,
we're
why
going to
not?
build a guest house. They can do champagne tours. One of the producers that we work with does champagne picnics at her vineyard where she sets up champagne. I think she has 15 varieties of champagne at her vineyard. So she picks out and does food pairings for you and packs your picnic basket, and you go into the vineyard, and you have a blanket and you sit there and you look at this beautiful countryside because it's absolutely stunning.
I think
Champagne
we
is
should add
gorgeous.
male escorts, and you should have the women come over in group A, and the men come over
um
shirtless. They're like, "Oui, moi c'est foncé," and
Thomas,
you're like,
that's a whole nother business. We're not no.
"Hey, pimping ain't easy, okay?" And
That's yeah,
remember,
that's that.
this is December, and I already said I'm being as professional as I'm going to be all year right now. That's just where this podcast is going. It's more fun. All right. So we're not going to do. I mean, pimping isn't easy. Everyone knows that pimping ain't easy, especially when it's male escorts because they have attitudes. They really. Anyway, we'll go down another line with that. But I think that would be.
I
I think you got
I
to get some
honestly
beautiful
cannot
people
speak
involved.
from that personally because you know I'm a married woman and I can't even talk about that. So
Well, you can't, but I think your husband can appreciate if you were pimping the good-looking dudes because he's selling more champagne. It just kind of works. She's like, where did this conversation go? And I'll tell you why it went that way,
I
because
don't know.
I'm thinking like, okay, that's nice champagne, but then they see these really hot dudes serving them champagne. Like, I don't give a shit what the champagne tastes like. It's going to taste so good because that guy is going to serve it to me in a picnic,
You know
and
what?
he's
We'll
going to
put a
just talk
pin in
French.
that for our bachelorette parties.
That's a no-brainer. And you should have like a whole training program for the guys in Champagne, like sit-ups, running every day. Like if you're going to be one of our guys, you got to have an 8-pack, no 6-packs. We're talking like
No,
Jason
all they
Mimosa.
need is a French accent.
We. I do a good
We.
French, fake French. Bon, what?
Yeah.
It's not. That is, guys. That is not French.
No, no.
That is
It
as
means
bad as my
something about
champagne knowledge.
eating. Manger is to eat, so
Is it? I
it
actually said
is.
a French word. I didn't
You
even know
did.
that. So class. I'm so sophisticated. I am so upper class. You don't even know. What else? So getting okay. So let's go back. So your biggest challenges right now, it's which is interesting because it's not the production because you can do that.
No,
it's really
we actually
sales.
have the
Like you get
orders
through
sitting
the
there waiting, ready to go.
yeah, so it's logistics on the once you get your approval, then you just need local people to go sell it. Are
Um,
you gonna have a distribution model of like, hey, listen, like you go, Thomas, you know all these liquor stores. I don't, but if I did, I'd be like, hey, listen, this is only available, blah 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 blah. Or you go to Total Wine, like what's you get approved? What's the next strategy? You do go after the Total Wine, or are you going for more of the niche players and like the
so
bodegas or something?
So we actually are mostly business to business. So we will supply to hotels, restaurants, caterers, that sort
Okay.
of thing. We are working with some local liquor stores in the Chicago area. We're also going to get our own distributor's license and work with a distributor because we have private clients all over the United States.
I mean, I
So
like that from a brand. Just if I put my marketing hat on, because that's the only one I could probably actually wear, maybe. I'm barely wearing a podcast helmet right now. It's a helmet, not a hat, because it's to be protected. Uh, I would tell you, I would think from a brand standpoint, you should try to make this as like you can't get it. It's just so hard to get. You got to know someone because at some point, it not that you want to become Gucci, what they did to their brand, but like you can get Gucci anywhere. Before it was really hard, it was super nice, but you still think of it as a good thing. Um, if I see it rocked in Costco, I'm questioning it, right? But if it's like, featured in some movie and it's like this is the only place you can, all right, okay. Now, are you making your bottles? Because a lot of people just bottle shop, right? They look at a bottle and they go, that looks so elegant, I want it. Is that part of your strategy, is to make sure your bottle looks as like authentically vintage, or what's the strategy with bottle shopping? Because that's how I buy.
so our labels are more Americanized than a traditional champagne label, and that's on purpose. So we are marketing to the American people. Like, we want them to be able to see our bottle and know, excuse me, and see our bottle and know that this is something that's made for us as American people. So we have three labels: Rugby Champagne, which is being marketed more towards the athletic male taste. It has more of a like the smoky whiskey type bourbon, leather, tobacco flavors that appeal to the
Did you
more
say leather
male.
tobacco?
Hmm. Yeah.
It tastes like grandpa's old Buick.
No, it tastes like a really fine whiskey.
I mean, your grandpa's old Buick smelled like leather and tobacco. That's like, I'm not sure I
these
want that.
these are sommelier words that are used when it's
Listen,
being tasted.
if my ignorance doesn't highlight how good you are at this, I don't know how else to separate dumb what you. I'm intentionally okay.
So that's our
Okay.
rugby
I mean,
champagne.
I want a leather tobacco smack in the face. That's what I want. I want to try that.
And it does that. That's our rugby champagne. So the highest growing demographic of champagne drinkers are males 35 to 55 years old.
It's us on keto. That's what it is. We all
Yeah.
stopped.
Well,
So many people stopped drinking beer and stuff because of the
yeah. Yeah.
carbs and
And
like.
champagne per glass actually has less calories than any other beverage,
Yeah, when I was doing keto
alcoholic
drinking,
beverage.
I was it was either vodka, neat, or that, or a dry champagne like a prosecco at worst, maybe
No,
something super.
Prosecco is not champagne, sir.
I know it's not champagne.
That's sacrilege
It didn't taste very good. I just went with vodka normally.
because it's not champagne.
I agree, vodka is not champagne. It is the Russian wine,
Yeah.
vodka.
Okay.
We're not talking about vodka though. I tried Soda Stream
Right.
and vodka, and it actually tastes good. By the way, it tastes like a vodka soda.
There are good vodkas. I agree with you.
Yeah,
There's a
we're not
lot
gonna
of
talk.
good flavors of stuff.
I didn't realize
And
you can get
then
champagne to taste like you could. Is it from the barreling? Is that how they do that? Is that it's the same way wine gets some of its taste, or is it from the earth, or how does it?
it's the earth, it's the ground, it's
All
the
right.
roots, it's the vines themselves. That's where the taste comes from, is actually from the grape. So, and then we have Vion Pink, which is our rosé. And then we have Purple Label, which is more of the everyday type champagne, which is very earthy and it's just super delicious and easy to drink. So
I used to like the more Argentinian, Chilean wines, very earthy. I think that
yes.
kind of one I'd probably enjoy if I had it. Does the person who makes champagne occasionally just be like, I'm gonna spit in this one and no one's gonna know it? Like just like
What?
when they're making it, do they do something like every year that like we're gonna throw a penny in this and it's gonna have a copper taste this year? Do they ever get crazy? Maybe drink too much, and that's how they experiment with new recipes, or do they really lock it down and never mess it up?
Um, no, actually,
Well,
they do change the recipe a bit. They don't throw pennies in it.
all right, I didn't.
They don't stomp it with their feet.
Okay, that was my question. No spitting in it for fermentation
Yeah,
purposes.
no, no, no foot fungus, nothing like that. So,
Ooh, foot fungus, man. That's kind of like grandpa's
actually,
old.
my husband Pierre's cousin experiments a lot with different flavors.
Mhm.
So one that like our rugby champagne, which I was talking about, is actually aged in a oak barrel, so that it gives it more of that Chardonnay oaky flavor, which Americans like that taste. It's not my favorite, but it's a very popular taste for American taste buds is
Yeah.
the oaky flavor. He also does one with red fruits, a red fruit champagne, which is also very popular um, with American taste buds. So yeah, there are some like I was saying, there's 15 varietals with the one company that we're working with. We're only going to import one and their fortified wine, which is called Ratafia, which is absolutely fabulous. That is
Mhm.
not even known in the United States. We're
First
bringing
time I've
something completely new.
is what's your competition like for? Are you competing for shelf space, or is it just really just um, the network you need to develop to make this work?
Um, I think our competition, to me, champagne doesn't really have competition.
Yeah.
But and that's because I've been in the region, I've spent a lot of time there, and I know the mindset of champagne producers. So to me, there is not the competition. Um, our biggest challenge is like getting branded, getting our name out there, getting
Yeah.
people to see us and desire us and want us, and keeping the demands and supply.
Yep. No, I
That's our
listen.
biggest challenge.
One of the guys, one of the teams that my marketing company works with, they've done a few vineyards now from the cinematic video. The reason I said I think having a good-looking group of people come out that's representative of the demographic you want to, that visits it and tastes it, and you have somebody film that whole thing, um, would be a very good use of in funds and time, because I think that becomes like people can identify with that, and then specifically if you could be like, hey, we'll throw you in the closet and you can sleep here, kind of thing. Um, yeah, that's gonna be.
Well, check out our Instagram because our social media manager is absolutely fantastic at that. And she has been promoting and doing videos and like she's so good. People are contacting us. It's like we've been contacted by um a television show to do product placement in their show because of her media and because of her promotion. I've gotten some influencers are like, I want to be your brand ambassador when this launches because our
I know.
official launch date is until March 4th.
All right, hold on, let me see if I do this right. Is this it right here?
Uh yeah, that's it. That's
Okay,
it.
cool.
That's it. That's
Now,
it.
is your social media person local into the market where you are?
She's in France.
Yeah, this is great. Very visual. I don't know what we're doing. Like we have Instagram, and I'm like, I don't think we have a clue what we're doing, but we're also not a visual brand like this. This is gorgeous. This is very cool. So if for those listening, it's rugbychampagne.wine. You should give it a follow on Instagram. I know I just did. And that's very pretty. It's good. And I think if you can add, like I said, like the more cinematic stuff, high end, for sure, because uh, you don't have 10 million bottles go to sell at Costco. You're like, you want to. I don't ever want to see this in a store. I want to just know that I know I can get it.
Yeah. Well, Listen, that's part of it too. Like that's part of our branding is the subscription model. So,
Oh, I like that.
as a private client, if you want to subscribe, we'll make sure that you get you know,
That's a great
every time we
idea.
get a shipment, you'll get your case or two or three. A lot of our private clients buy up to 10 cases per shipment. So, and
I mean,
right
I
now
love
that's
that.
what we're
You're just
dealing with are private clients.
yeah, you're filling orders, putting them on a container, and bringing them in on
Yeah.
one thing, and I love that. And
Mm-hmm.
then some people drive it around in a hopefully it's not the people who deliver Amazon packages and argue in our driveway at
No,
5:30
no,
in
no,
the
no, no,
morning.
no.
I'm not saying that
No,
happened
no.
today,
So
but
our
maybe
warehouse.
a group of people I thought maybe we were going to get broken into were arguing in our driveway as they delivered a package today at 5:43
Well,
in the morning.
oh,
That
yeah,
was fun.
yeah.
My
No,
daughter's like,
no, no. They have to be refrigerated and it has to be temperature controlled.
yeah, well, I'm just saying, just don't hire the people who delivered that Amazon package this morning. I'm tired because of it. I'm cranky. Um, all right, I'm going to give you a shameless plug. Okay, so right now, you want people to know about this brand for sure. So I think rugby champagne wine. I'm going to put that on there for the Instagram thing here. I would tell you go to the website. But I mean, following the social media thing makes it super easy to keep in touch with you guys because then you can see what's going on. You get
Yeah.
updates. I hope to see you on there too, talking about it. But are you guys? Your biggest call to action right now is if you're interested in investing in these kind of things, or you want to get into this or learn more about how you can help bring it to America or something like that. Are these the kind of people? Or are you looking more like I want people to buy it?
Um, what we're really looking for is to get the brand out, right? So you are going to be able to buy it at certain liquor stores, not all of them. You're going to be able to get it in restaurants. You're going to be able to get it um, eventually in more places. Certain hotels. We have a contract with a hotel right now in Chicago. So there's going to be places where you can get it. So our whole idea is what you're saying basically is to make it so sought after that people are looking for us, right?
I
Coming
like
to
that.
us and like saying, we want to try that. And right now through our social media, I'm getting that a lot. Like I'm
Yeah,
getting a lot of where can I get this? When can we get this? When are you launching? So we're going to have a big launch party in Chicago in March. We're going to be posting that flyer very soon, where you can get the tickets to come. It's going to be Mardi Gras. So it's going to be like a masquerade type party, and it's going to be a 20s theme. That's going to be for our rugby champagne. And then we're going to do a very elegant event for our purple label. And then we want to do like a really fun, maybe with the male escorts for the pink label.
I'm available for hire. I've been working out this
Okay,
week.
how you look at a bow tie?
I mean, look at this tie. I'll
Uh,
probably cut the bow tie if I put it on. Just so you know, I think it would be off brand if I didn't cut off that.
okay, well,
Do
why
you
don't you
know
do
who it
the
is,
kind
right?
that you could
I'm
just
pretty sure
rip
that's
off
Thomas.
like a stripper?
Oh, any of my shirts you pull on, they come off at the seams. Like that's how I buy it. Just because I'm really like a little ADD, so I can't just take it off or one arm.
There you
I don't
go.
know listen, anybody listening, if one arm is always tucked in of your clothes in the laundry, you have ADD. Just that's how it is. Or one leg is inside out because you just can't take long enough to get it around your ankles, or the backs of all your shoes are collapsed. ADD. Every one of you. Just don't even fight it. That's it. See?
Okay.
If you could have one influencer, who would it be? Who would you want to be your brand ambassador?
Ooh, that's a
Michelle
tough
Obama.
one.
Michelle Obama. What do you think?
So check this out. Are the
She's in Chicago.
neighborhood where we are is where the neighborhood where the Obama's house is in Chicago.
Throw a bottle of champagne at it, see what happens.
We'll go sit it on their doorstep.
Maybe don't do that. You might get a Secret Service person
No,
popping
actually,
out.
you can't even walk down their street. My friend lives on their street, right? The ones I
Yeah,
was telling you about with the
yeah. You
wine
probably can't get
cellars.
very close to that house.
Yeah, they live on their street, so yeah, you can't even walk there because the Secret Service is on the entire block. So
Yeah,
yeah,
no, it's always
that
there.
probably won't happen. Maybe an invitation to an event that we do.
Right. That would be a good ambassador. I could see that. There's no one
Yeah,
smoother. Honestly, people can get mad at this. I don't care. But Obama was so smooth when he talked.
he
It
still
was
is. Like
he's just
nothing
like I
rattles
like
him.
He's one of those people who's like, like you may not like his politics, whatever, but if you don't think he was a smooth ass talker,
Right. Like
oh,
nothing, you don't see him like getting flustered or,
I
yeah,
wish he
no.
was impressionable. But when they got Osama bin Laden, he was just like, oh, we got him. Oh, I saw that shit live. And I was drinking rugby champagne, not wine.
There you go. And
That
to
would have been a good
toast it,
photo.
a glass
You
of
should
rugby
start putting those on
champagne.
there. Like, so.
That
All
would
right.
be awesome.
I'm sorry. I was rude. I answered your question for you. Who would you like to be
Who would
a
I?
good influencer?
That is so hard. That is just, there's so many people that I think would be so awesome.
I'll give you top 3. I'll make it easier for you.
Okay.
I'm not. What would be a good 3, solid 3?
That's not easier for me. I mean, I have people that I admire that I really like, but as far as brand ambassadors go, it would need to be somebody who is not too young, maybe in their 30s, early 40s. Um, like a very handsome, smooth person, like like a James Bond type person for the male part. And then for the female part, like a somebody hot and sexy and smooth, but smart.
Abby from Dance Moms.
Definitely not.
Only reason I know that is because my 10-year-old's making me watch it. Just...
Definitely not her.
All right,
No.
I'm imagining. No, I'm not gonna do this because Is this
No, go ahead. Do it. Do it.
No, I can't because I can't think of his name. It's Thor, whatever his name is. Christian Hayden.
Oh, Chris Helmsworth.
Hemsworth. Yes.
Hemsworth. Oh,
Hemsworth.
he would be good.
Because he'd be funny.
He would be good.
Or Jason Mimosa. I don't know what his last name is. I call him Mimosa because you're talking about champagne and orange juice.
Momoa. He would be good. Yeah.
He'd be fine.
Yeah.
One thing I love what he
like
does
that.
when he takes pictures of people, he takes the beer of the guy and pushes the guy out and drinks his beer and holds his woman.
Or like a really high profile rugby guy would be awesome.
I'm not as familiar with that, but there's some or a rugby team that's like very manly, and then they're all drinking champagne. That would be a sell right there. You get
this is my commercial
Fiji.
idea. You will love this because I mean I don't know you that well, but we're getting to know each other, and I think you would love this.
I mean, I'm on the line.
My husband used to
future. What do you call it?
My husband used to play rugby. That's where we got the whole idea of the name Rugby Champagne. It came up at a dinner party one night, and we were like, great, fantastic. So he used to play rugby. So I want to see, and he has really long, curly, blonde hair. He looks like a Viking, right? So I want to see him coming out of the locker room in a suit with shades on, with the hair flowing, right? Coming out of the locker room with the rugby team behind him in their rugby uniforms, with him carrying a bottle of champagne by the neck like it's a rugby ball.
I like that.
What do you think about that?
I like that. I was thinking like the New Zealand when they do the haka.
Oh yeah, we love the haka.
And they just take a champagne. They're like,
we love the haka.
And all of a sudden they're like, they break out a glass of the champagne, like rugby champagne.
They all drink. Yeah, we love the haka. That would be great.
That is pretty cool. It's intimidating.
Yeah. And then for the pink champagne, horseback. Like the whole Beyonce cowboy thing with the chaps and the cowboy hat, but pink.
I mean, Beyonce would be a great.
She would be awesome.
She'd probably want about 38% of your company, but you might want to give it to her if she did that.
Yeah, that would be worth it.
Beyonce?
But she actually
if you're watching,
come out with Sir Davis. Her it's a bourbon. Well, a kind of whiskey. I want to say it's a bourbon, but it's called Sir Davis that she has just come out with her brand. And I'm thinking of doing a cocktail with it, a champagne cocktail with it.
You should. Some collaborations. The Rock has a tequila. He was in our city of Alpharetta promoting it at a club called Orange.
Yeah. Well, like his tequila, I do a champagne margarita. So that would be great.
There is that's a good use of your, collabs on your Instagram or maybe that's a TikTok plays. You start mixing up these other celebrity stuff with your stuff and say, this could work. And like,
yeah.
So Beyonce or The Rock, if you're
I make champagne cocktails. Like I make stuff up. So
you're making me miss drinking. I'm going to have to hang up now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You know what I don't miss about drinking? Not that you'd ever get this from your product, are the hangovers. So I don't like to stay up late, but if I do, I know I can still get up at 6, go work out. I might be tired for the day, or there may be some dude in my driveway arguing with somebody else as they're delivering a package last night. I can still get up and not be super cranky. But my point is, I don't miss hangovers. So what is the right way to drink champagne so you don't get a hangover?
So here's the thing that's very interesting about champagne. Champagne, the bubbles, the finer the bubbles, the better the champagne, in my opinion, right?
Okay.
So you want the little fine bubbles. Champagne hits you fast.
It
When you
does.
drink that first glass of champagne, you feel like, woohoo, okay, this is great. But then it dissipates very quickly. That feeling, right? That champagne buzz goes fast. So then you drink another one, you get the next buzz. Um, it rarely gives you a hangover because it goes through your system so quickly. Unless you just drink so much that you're like, I never want to drink champagne again. Um,
I've said
which
that
people
before,
have
and I've
done.
definitely drank champagne again. I just
When people came to our wedding, they we gifted them with a bottle of champagne that had our wedding date label on it.
Mhm.
And then they drank champagne all night, and because his family supplied it for us. And when they left after the 4-day party of our wedding, they were saying they never want to drink champagne again. They are our best customers right now, so it's
Oh,
a
I'm
lie.
sure they are. Yes, that
It's a
that
lie.
I will tell you though, if alcohol tasted like gin, would never have drank ever. Who
I'm
wants to
not a
drink a
gin
pine
fan.
tree? Does you want to drink a
Yeah.
pine tree? No.
Yeah.
What the
My
hell?
husband
Pine trees
loves gin, not me, not me.
don't.
But a glass of champagne. So what's cool about champagne, right? It's celebratory.
Right.
You can also drink it with food. Like we do food pairings with our champagne, right? Which a lot of people think it's, aperitif. You just drink the champagne and then you go on to something at wine with dinner or whatever. But you can actually drink champagne with food. And it's just ours is just super drinkable. Like you could just go pop a bottle of champagne, which we do often, and have it instead of a glass of white wine or red
I'm
wine or
surprised you're not
whatever.
drinking it right now. I'm a little disappointed. I'm questioning your
I'm
product.
not
Right.
drinking it right now because I'm on camera and I don't want to do that.
Drinking is allowed on the Never Been Promoted show.
I didn't
So is
know that.
cussing. Cussing is definitely allowed. Politics lightly is allowed. Talking about gigolos and male escorts apparently is in.
Well, if I had known, I'd have dancers behind me right now.
That would be funny. Just two shirtless dudes holding your champagne. And you just go and they hand it to you, and you're like, and some guy dabbles, and the other guy takes it back.
Garçon, take a
Go,
sip.
garçon.
Garçon.
Actually, you get bored, like drink it for me.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, by the way, so much. Just conscious of time. All right. This is how you get a hold of you. Rugbychampagne.wine. If you don't know how to spell that, it's RUGBY. And champagne, by the way, is spelled like in Illinois. Is it like in Illinois?
It is.
Champagane.
Exactly. Yes.
And by the way, we're talking about Champagne, France. We're not like, just south of Chicago. That's not the Champagne region she's talking about, just to be clear. Those grapes would be very sweet. They'd be very watery. There's too much rain there. It's not enough sun. Way too many tornadoes. And a few rednecks. But besides that, it's a great area. Okay. I grew up in Central Illinois, so I can make that claim a little bit. Thank you, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun.
No, you rock. I'm going to put you in the periwinkle room. There's no champagne in there, but I will be right back with you though here as I say.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
All right. Thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for coming on today, Carolyn. You got to, if anything, you should just call her and talk to her. She's fun to talk to, and she's not even drinking. You imagine when she starts drinking, how much fun she would be. Check out their brand, rugbychampagne.wine. That is also their handle for Instagram. I don't know what their TikTok one is, but if they don't have one, I'm pretty sure it's going to be something like that. But check it out, Instagram and their website. Really good stuff. If you're, you love champagne, you think about investing, give them a call. If this was your first time here listening, I do appreciate very much you paying attention. Oh, I do want to bring up the call here. A friend of mine from St. Louis, Chris Robinson. Do the haka, Tommy. You right, baby. Chris, hold on. We're bringing her back real quick. This is a guy you should reach out to. He will become a private client. Chris Robinson, I don't know if you're still listening. I just look for that face on LinkedIn. Send him a message. He'll probably buy several cases from you. Anyway, we're going to take it back. All right, I'll put you back in the room. Sorry. I never do that. Chris, you rock. Good seeing you, man. Thanks so much, guys, for listening. Until next time, get out there, go unleash your entrepreneur. And when you do, have a glass of champagne.